Hey guys, how's it going? It's Khan from DownEarthGuitars.com, and I want to talk about, how to master the guitar scales. And let me tell you, mastering guitar scales is definitely one of the most challenging things you can do on guitar, and I by no means am a master of them, but in my journey, or through my journey that I'm taking so far to master them, I have picked up enough to, to teach some people what I know and some of the mistakes that I've been making. First mistake I made is I only learned one position when I started out. Guys, just do yourself a favor and maybe, learn one position, but keep learning more positions until you've got all 5 down, and 5 would be for the pentatonic scale. I believe there's 5 positions. But it's not enough to just know the positions, guys. You have to learn how to hear the sound of the scale. I mean, you gotta know what every note in the scale sounds like. And this isn't only good because you're gonna know, where the notes are, but it's also gonna improve your musical ear. You don't wanna just know, that the E is at the 7th fret and the E is on the 8th fret of the next string and the 9th fret of the next string, but you wanna know where it sounds. So you wanna be able to, play a note like at the 5th fret, which would be an A, and then to go anywhere on the fretboard and to find that note again. That is really what's going to help you become a master of the scales, because you're going to be able to match up the different sounds. Because different sounds, the same note on different strings has a slightly different sound, so it obviously is beneficial to know where all the different notes are. Now, one thing that a lot of people think is that they need to just keep practicing their scales up and down until they can do them really quick. But the truth is that you need to just practice your scales. First of all, when you're practicing your scales, make sure you're doing it correctly. Guys, don't rush through your scales. Hit every note, let it ring out before you move on to going faster. But more importantly is the practice that you do when you don't have your guitar. Because when you have your guitar, you're always going to be going up and down the scale. And guys, if you're going up and down, that's a good way to warm up. But start mixing it up after that. Don't get into the habit of just playing up and down the scale, because your fingers will actually get a memory, and then you'll find yourself doing these really lame kind of lead solos where you're just going up and down the scale, which is alright sometimes, but it gets boring pretty fast. But what I was going to say before is that, to really become a master of the scales and to really understand them, you got to understand the theory behind them. And to do that, just visualize them in your head. Even if you don't have your guitar with you, try to think of the positions on a scale and try to think of your fingers playing them. There's actually a cool story about this pianist who went into prison. I think it was a Chinese prison for 3 years, and for 3 years he would visualize himself playing all of these intense pieces. And when he came out, everybody, even his critics, agreed that he actually became a better musician just by visualizing himself doing it. So, same thing obviously works here. You gotta visualize yourself doing the scales when you're not even on your guitar, and then when you do get on your guitar, you gotta really think about what you're doing. Don't just blindly play them, guys. You always gotta be thinking about the notes you're hitting and how they sound together. And why are you doing this slide? Why are you putting a hammer on here? Why are you pulling off to this note? Always be thinking about it. And one final little tip for lead guitar and mastering the scales is it's not about who can play the fastest, it's about who can put the most emotion into their playing. So don't just furiously play at your scales. Play with emotion, passion, and conviction, and you'll have no trouble mastering the guitar scales at all. Anyways guys, we actually got some lessons on how to develop your lead guitar playing that aren't just me talking. Make sure you check them out. Anyways, Khan from Down to Earth Guitar signing out. Take care.